Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once in a lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit freedomlovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. freedomlovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really live.
Here we go. Guys and girls, you're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. This is the final hour, the hour about love. The last few weeks, as you know, I've been kind of rushy. Almost at the end of the hour, I had to go. I'm still, believe it or not, in the middle of this humongous move. I had to move 11 years on my life and businesses, so imagine. So it's been rough, because I didn't want to really somehow delay the show too much, so I still want to be there every Sunday for you, for me too. I'm here to try to do what I can to share what I feel to share. So we are here for each other. But sometimes I must tell you, it's been kind of an effort because I have so many things piled up while running the businesses and at the same time, of course, moving and being here. So it's been a little rough and I apologize. But finally, this Sunday, I wanted to go back a little bit to the original purpose of this final hour. This is the hour about love. We can talk a little bit about everything you want. Yes, I may also give you some serenade. Maybe I will give you a new recipe. But more important, I want to hear today from somebody else. And I really believe when we talk about love, I don't know, I'm a guy, okay? And I'm a straight guy. So I like to talk about with a woman. I like to pick her brain. I like to pick her emotions. And also have ask her opinions about different topics, especially when a woman that appreciates the Second Amendment and that she has a free spirit. I know that she has a lot of things that we may agree when it comes down also to politics, or at least, the way we look at life. I believe politics, it is not an abstract concept, but something pretty much connected to our lifestyle, how we want to live, free or slaves. Her name is Karmyn, and she's from Las Vegas. She's also a Facebook friend of mine. I'm very proud of her that she's my friend because I really appreciate her input and also her different type of sometimes comments. Anyway, let me bring her on. Karmyn from Las Vegas. Are you there?
I'm here.
Anyway, thank you very much, Karmyn, because, we talk back and forth via Facebook and, of course, over the phone. We have a project that we're going to work together pretty soon. You're going to be one of my models for my Don't Tread on Us, the Freedom Rifle that I'm relaunching now with my new U.S. Arms. So I'm very thankful, first of all, that you accepted the offer, and I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you asking me. I feel very honored to be a part of this.
I like to have, honestly, I like everybody. I don't care, guys, girls, that they can be representing, the spirit of my rifle. But when it comes down firearms and women, I believe it's even something more powerful when a woman somehow display with pride and also with a purpose. The firearm can be a tool that you can do anything you want. You can, create devastation and death, or you can save life, and it can also defend your freedom. And also, as a woman, as a mother, correct me if I'm wrong. I know you're a mother, right?
Yeah.
I think the motherly instinct to defend her children. It is something that, we don't walk around with private security or with police in our back. So sometimes we have to face challenges of life. And I think a mother with a firearm, if trained, I think is a very powerful message to send out. Tell me a little bit about you and firearms. How do you feel about the Second Amendment, right? Do you exercise it? Do you believe it? You think something maybe is antiquated? What is your opinion?
Well, I totally 100% support the Second Amendment. And a little backstory, my mother was born and raised in this little city called Pulaski, Tennessee, which is also the birth of the Ku Klux Klan.
Wow.
So, so my grandfather always had guns, and so I come from a family that's, very much in, support of the Second Amendment. And actually, my grandfather, when I was a little girl, he told me that when I got older, he was going to teach me how to shoot guns. Unfortunately, he passed away before I got old enough. He was 8 when I passed away, when he passed away, I mean. And so, I felt like I missed an opportunity with him, but it's still something that, I 100% support, and especially living in Vegas, because there's some colorful personalities that live here. So just knowing that, having the right to bear arms, to me, it just makes me feel a lot safer.
I didn't mention it because normally I don't really make any deal. For me, I look at people as people, good people or bad people. That's it. But, people, in this case, we are talking about, also like to ask your opinion, because you are a woman, an American woman. It also happens to be a black woman. So I'm sure you have maybe some different experiences in your life, as you mentioned, the Ku Klux Klan or other past experience when you were younger, especially, when you connected to a right, like the Second Amendment. I was born in Italy. I learned these things later, but what I learned, and correct me if I'm wrong, the first real gun control in history of this country was created especially after the Civil War, to be sure the black people, they did not have the right to be armed. That's because, after all, you don't want slaves be armed. That's exactly the message. Am I right or wrong? Because I know that for sure was when it happened during the typical license, marriage license. The people, they are so excited to say, "Oh, let me go get a marriage license." That was created exactly to be sure that they could control interracial marriages between black and white. Is that true?
100% true. It's all about control. Any type of law or restriction, you have to look at the backstory of it, and in almost all cases, and I can't think of any exceptions off the top of my head, it's all about control. And it's very scary how there's so many people nowadays who think that all these regulations and, all this control is such a great thing. And it's just very alarming, because it's like they didn't pay attention to history and realize why it is. They basically regurgitated what they were taught, but they're not reading it in between the lines and realizing, why all this stuff is here. It's like you don't need anyone's permission to live your life. Assuming you're not harming anybody, of course.
Yes. Something interesting, because at the time when they started the gun control, the typical licensing and also the marriage license, there was just for a specific target ethnic group, okay? There was the black people. They wanted to be sure that, you know what, yes, you may have some rights, but guess what? No, you're not going to get armed, and if you want to get married, you're not going to do as you wish. You need to ask for a permit. Now people don't understand, or maybe some do, I'm not saying everybody, but we are all now potential enslaved, because the point that we all need to ask for a license to get married. I mean, why should I go to the government if I want to, let's say, have a private, personal, consensual relationship with somebody who's over 18? Why should I go ask for a permit to pay on top to say, okay, now I can marry you because the government, my master, told me so? That's insane. I mean, I don't know. Maybe
it's absolutely insane. I totally agree. It's insane, and I don't understand how there's people out there who don't see how it's insane, and and trying to explain it I sometimes feel like I'm talking to a brick wall, because they just don't get it, and it's very scary and disturbing to me.
The Stockholm syndrome. I'm sure you're familiar with that. It is real.
Yes.
It's happening here too. As much as we are completely being so fed into the system to believe that that's pretty much normal. And at the end of the day, we want to worship and love and defend our masters. And don't you dare to say something that is critical to the system, because they don't need the enforcers to come after you. Our own people, the same slaves like us, no, it's true. Remember something, slaves, they used to watch slaves. I mean, they didn't have enough resources. Even look at the Gestapo, Yeah, you do have the Gestapo. Yes, you have the Nazi, wherever they are. Even in the Russian, in the camps, any regime, doesn't matter. They always use their own, at the end, to police each other. They put us against each other, and they'll be sure that they brainwash enough idiots out there that they don't need their enforcers. They will turn you in, or they will make you feel, even just mentally, like you are crazy, or like, how dare you. I mean, I had somebody on my page on Facebook, a lady from California, bless her heart. We've been friends for many years. But, my last post, the last few months, I've been just stating facts. That the fact is, yes, we are better off than many other parts of the world, and that's why I'm here. Otherwise, I would stay in Italy. But reality is,
Right.
this is no more the America. Even with the faults, even with the different type of, still imperfections, but completely different from what the America that our founding fathers envisioned as a small government, as a government also based on a constitution to constrain the government, and to a basic Bill of Rights that's supposed to declare and announce some rights that government should not touch. We are done. We are gone from there. I mean, just the fact now that, as we said, you need to ask for the license. You need to ask for the license in the morning you wake up. I mean, if you cannot work if you don't have a license. I mean, you cannot even drill a well if you don't have a license. I mean, how many licenses do you need? And property. You want to talk about really being the illusion of ownership. I mean, do you think you own a house? You don't. You're renting it. That's the point. So don't you think? I mean, I was just stating these facts. And this woman, and as I said, that's fine. That's what you think about me. She started, for me, one thing though, when you start with the wrong, if you don't like me, that's fine. I respect that. But if you say, what if you don't like it here, why don't you go back to Italy? That's exactly the bigot attitude that I do not approve anymore. I have no other place to go. This is my country. I burned my Italian passport. And if you want to disagree with me about facts, that's fine. So I got a little mad there, I must admit it. So anyway, we are no more friends. But the point is, the reality is, are we really free, Karmyn? Are we really free, or are we living in illusion? What do you think?
It's a total illusion. I don't believe we have freedom at all. I mean, for the fact that, someone can, because they choose to put a substance in their body that the government doesn't approve of, they can be put in jail and have a felony record. And then when they get out and they try to, get a job to support themselves, and they can't get a job because they have a felony over putting something in their body that wasn't hurting anyone but themselves. No, there is no freedom here. Yeah, sure, you can talk about relative freedom compared to other parts of the world, like, certain countries in the Middle East. Sure, we do have more freedom than them, but at the same time, we're not truly a free country. I don't believe it. I
mean, let's make I always like to, create the case like in court, okay? I'm no lawyer, but I almost was there when I was in Italy. I almost finished my years. My point, let's make the case here. First of all, if you're really free, you should own your body. You should be owner of your body, always with the basic rule that we set, that we should never endanger others. So let's say I'm really truly free. I am the master of my body. People may say God. That's fine. If you believe in God, that's your right. But beside that religious aspect, you should be on your body, not the government. Am I right or wrong?
100% right.
Now, when the government tells you what is good for you and will force you with coercion and fear of a fine or more, because if you don't pay the fine, they will come after you probably with the guns. Let's say seatbelt. Yeah. Seatbelt for me is the first infringement of my ownership of my body. People can say, yes, it's for your safety, fine, but you are not my mom. You are not my dad. A government, it is not my mom. So they should never force me to put a seatbelt, especially when I have my own private health insurance and my private life insurance. So I'm not going to cost anything to society. Don't you think right there we have a little problem? They start to make a point that they claim ownership over your body.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. And then if you don't wear your seatbelt and, the police catch you not wearing your seatbelt, then they write you a ticket and you have to pay a fine for choosing not to wear a seatbelt, which I find completely ridiculous. Yeah. If you don't want to wear a seatbelt, don't wear it. But, don't police have better things to do than to pull people over for not wearing a seatbelt and for other minor issues? Exactly. Like, I would much rather than focus on, the real criminals that are actually hurting people, such as, rapists, murderers, those types of criminals, not somebody who chose not to wear a seatbelt. It's absolutely ridiculous if you ask me.
Exactly. My point, exactly, what are we endangering? I mean, there is no other people that we are trying to, damage or deprive of their rights. It's our body, it's our car. It is really, for me, right there we have lost People may complain today about many other things that we're losing. That's fine. But when we lost that opportunity, we gave the government the opportunity to really to claim ownership over us. And the same story with the helmet. I mean, at least I understand if you're on a bike, I would suggest you to wear a helmet. It's a smart thing to do.
Of course.
But it should not be in Arizona, we don't have it as a mandatory. But I know many other states, you would be stopped immediately and fined and eventually arrested if you don't pay the fine or whatever, So that's another point. Now let's talk about the income, because everybody's now think that we have to pay your fair share of your personal income. I'm not talking about corporate. I'm talking about your personal income. I mean, before 1913, people may have forgotten that you didn't have to pay anything from your personal income. I mean, is that
Right.
not slavery when you have master decide how much you can keep out of your work, out of your labor? I mean, after all, it's hours. You trade hours of your life for something that's supposed to be valuable. Like in this case, it's not really just paper. It's federal. Paper money. It's not even real backed by silver. But still, let's say this paper money called dollar is a trade between your time and that type of thing, a piece of paper called dollar. Now, if somebody takes out of your time free work, because that's what you're doing, you're going to work for free many hours out of your year to pay against your will something that really, then we go to the justification. That's another reason. But let's just look at that. That's a form of slavery, in my opinion, is it?
Yeah, it is a form of slavery, and it also encourages mediocrity because the more you make, then you end up in a higher tax bracket, and then they're taking more money away from you. And so instead of rewarding you for your hard work and for your ingenuity and just for being successful, they take more of it from you. I mean, it's worse than a pimp, if you ask me.
Yeah, it is. And on top, people think, we are not communists here. This is exactly out of the Marx Communist Manifesto, a progressive income tax. That's the dream of Karl Marx. And now we have it in America. Yeah, maybe less than probably Sweden or maybe Italy. I understand. But the principle is exactly the same. And my only question is, if somebody taxes you like 100%, yes, you must admit that you are a slave. You're working for free. But when somebody taxes you like, let's say, 70% or 60% between, state, local, and federal, sometimes, you can get to the right. You are probably 70% slave. I mean, is that not true? I mean, my point is we should know why we came to this point, because many people, unfortunately, I realize, don't even know. I mean, the fact that we have an entity like, and I'm just talking to, we're knowing each other now. You know a lot of things. I realize that. I see you post, but sometimes I don't assume. An entity called private, I mean, they're not called private. They are Federal Reserve. They have this arrogance to call themselves Federal Reserve, but they are a private cartel of banks that since 1913, they pretty much took over our currency system. They print money out of thin air. And reality is, and this is being proven by also a President Reagan investigation, congressional investigation, all the income tax that we slaves pay, all it does, it pays pretty much just the interest that we owe back to this cartel of banks. So why don't we bypass them? And we as a U.S. Treasury, we print our own money as a country. So at least if you really want to do welfare or whatever programs you want to do, and every dollar you spend, we don't need to be taxed the interest. And we don't have any more, like we didn't have before 1913, the income tax. I mean, it seems like a pretty common sense thing. Everybody talks about tax cuts, cut tax or all this stuff like Trump and the Congress, or we got to do tax reform, but nobody really addressed the real problem. We didn't have taxes before 1913, and we still had a nation, and better than now, in my opinion. Why you think nobody wants to touch this Federal Reserve scam out there?
Well, in most cases, people are unaware of the scam, and if they learn anything about it, they believe it's some type of conspiracy theory, but it's not a conspiracy theory. This is actual reality. So it will take waking up the masses in order for this to change. And unfortunately, I'm getting less optimistic, as time goes on, that enough people are going to wake up, unfortunately.
Well, I think we are reaching for. Listen, I remember myself. We were all ignorant sometime. Okay, there is only time for
Yeah.
what and when. Learning is a curve, but it's always constant. You never stop learning. You always learn new things. I learned about the Federal Reserve with about in 2005. I was kind of late, but I was just pretty much new to this country anyway. So, but my point is, we are reaching still more people today than we are reaching more people today than probably just 10 years ago. The point is still sometimes seems so big to overcome all this, because there are still also so many people out there that they just don't want to get it, or they are afraid even to talk about it, because they realize that when they admit that there is a problem, then they need to do something, and they don't maybe have even the courage to face it. And after all, their little world is pretty good. Yes, there is this entity that I had to pay at the end of the year this money, but at the end of the day, I still can be home. I got my home, and I got my little slave job, and yes, I can get my vacation, and yes, I'm free. Talking about freedom, what do you think about the Social Security? I mean, the fact, that the government can take part of your money without your consent because they decide that they know better how to invest them for your future. That, for me, drives me crazy. I mean,
Absolutely.
If it's really
it's
my
a
money,
huge Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Because the money that we're investing now, that's paying off the retired people currently. And so, honestly, I don't expect to get anything from Social Security. So I'm not even going to count on, that proper existence, because it's going to be completely bankrupt by the time, I reach retirement age, quote unquote. It's just one of those things people have to wake up and realize that, you know what? I create my own life. I create the amount of success that I want to have. And no, I don't need government to help me with it.
My point is, even if it was really truly a great system, okay, let's say Social Security, wow, you put $1 and you will get your dollar back with the interest. That's fine, great. But if it is really my money, okay, that I work hard for, I should be able to decide how I want to invest them. Maybe I don't like to do that. Maybe I want to spend them
Absolutely.
now, or maybe I want to buy gold, or maybe I want to do something else. The fact that their arrogance, they get your money before even you can touch them. I mean, you don't touch those money; they're gone before even they hit your bank account. So right there, I think really it is something that I don't know. It should maybe make you at least think. If you really think you're a free person, that's really your money. You should be able to control those money. You should be able to control your body. You should be able in charge of those things and your property. If you really is your property, So anyway, that's my point. And that's why I'm talking about these things, because I like to have your mind. And as I said, I don't care what type of color you are, but the fact that you have a different background, you're a black woman. And I'm sure, your past. I don't know today how things have changed. I hope better, but I don't assume. But I know for sure that probably 100 years ago, things they weren't exactly all peachy. Even after the Civil War, supposedly the slaves, they were freed. I don't think things changed till recently. How do you, first of all, remember your past as a child, when you were living in Tennessee? Can I ask you which part of America
Well, I was actually born in Nashville, but my mom was born in Pulaski, and that was the same place the KKK was founded. So,
Okay.
but I was actually raised in Maryland. So, yeah, I've lived in a lot of different states. And, overall, I just remember childhood being very positive. And, there would be little isolated incidences. But, looking back on that, what I don't understand is, okay, if you want to feel whatever way you want to feel about other people, that's fine, but why force the issue on others?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like me, it's cool. Just stay away from me.
Exactly.
You don't have to threaten me in any way. Just stay away. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. My point is, right now, for example, we're talking about 2017, okay? And of course, now you live in a big city, Las Vegas. It seems very much a blend of different ethnics and people. I mean, it's business. Yeah, I don't know. I go to Las Vegas. I do business. I never had any problem with, I know sometimes my accent probably, in some parts of the country, they may look at me like, I'm from, I'm not from here. And I had sometimes a couple times, hey, they treat you a little bit differently. But honestly, my humble opinion, in America here, as a former immigrant from Italy, I never had any real problem. Besides, the problems are the people that they kiss your ass till yesterday when they agree with you. Some of these people that normally we agree on many things, like the lady I was telling you before. But then the moment that they found something that they doesn't compute anymore with a little program, in this case, having an open conversation like we're having now, oh, maybe you should go back to Italy if you don't like it. I mean, that's for me the most, if you want to call it bigot, I don't really care. But yeah, that's something really, I don't find it smart. Because you can tell me I don't agree with you, but now why you have to go back where I was from? I'm here as an American.
Well, I get that too. If you don't like America, move away.
I mean, I'm in
But
America
moving
too.
away is not necessary. What is necessary is us, coming together and making, this country be a better place for everyone to live in. That's the solution. Make it better for everyone, not, simply leave because we don't want to be rolled over.
Exactly. But the funny thing is, we don't ask anything. At least I'm speaking for myself. I know yourself too, in the same mindset. I mean, we wanted just to say, please leave us alone and use your money to create your utopistic reality. I mean, that's the sad thing, Oh, if you don't like America, go away. No, I like America. But my point is, they need you, they need us more than we need them. That's the reality. Because this system would collapse if there would not be coercion to have people like us forced into the system. The moment that people say, you know what, no, I'm sorry, the Social Security money is my money, and I don't think you should get it unless I want it. Bang, they need you. So I don't want to leave America. I want you to leave me the left alone. I mean, that's the point. Same story with,
Exactly.
property taxes. You know what? You can do whatever you want. You can build all the schools and give all this fancy car to all these teachers, or not even the teacher, the supervisor, all the different extra millions of dollars that they spend and more spend. But at the end of the day, without my property tax, you can do whatever you want. But they want your property tax, like they want your income, like they want to force you to do things. So that's the point, That's the difference. I don't want them to do anything just to be sure that they don't use violence against others. That's my philosophy. I don't use I will never coerce anybody else to say, you got to do what I say or follow my belief. That's exactly,
Right.
we are opposite than that. So that's the interesting thing. But listen to me, more a little bit I want to ask you about, I'm very fascinated about your background. And by the way, I never really had a chance to interact many with black ladies. I had few friends when I was in Los Angeles, but I always found very interesting. I like women in general from everywhere, especially when they have different type of. We all have ancestors and origins and things like that. So I'm always fascinated from every ethnic group. I must admit it, especially when you tell me, that you are from Tennessee. But more important, did you ever find out really where you were from? For example, which part of Africa you were from?
I actually got the 23andMe. They were able to analyze my DNA, so it was broken down by I was basically from West Africa, and I'm hoping someday to maybe have a DNA match with a long lost cousin from there, and I can maybe go to the country and meet them. But so far, and actually when I did that, it was quite surprising because I knew because being American and the way the slavery system was, that I wasn't purely black, but I was actually surprised the high percentage of European ancestry I had, because I was expecting to be maybe 5, maybe 10%, but I was quite shocked. It was almost 25%.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, that was interesting.
Interesting.
And
Listen,
yeah.
I believe also
It's
that, listen,
surprising.
there is some story probably that they were coerced, but maybe there were also some love stories, even when things that were forbidden.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I mean,
Yeah, well, because it's probably, some, coercion, but it was also some love stories as well. But if you're living in a system where the government won't allow you to be with the person you love,
yeah.
then you have to get creative to be with that person. It was just very sad, when you look at those situations where had government been out of the way, these would have been, mutual loving relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But since government was in the way, then you had to have all this creative sneaking around.
Yeah, no, it's
So
true.
yeah, it was probably better both, both coercion and actually both love stories where government was in the way.
One thing I want to remind everybody, that's why when I say people, we gotta follow the law, it's the law. Yes, there is also a point though. There were laws in the past, and even in the present, by the way. But let's look at the past. In every country, by the way, but we talk about here right now, that they did things that were legal. I mean, think about it. There was an executive order, there was even a law that took people of Japanese descent, and also Italian too, and Germans too, by the way, but mostly they were Japanese, and robbed their life, took them out of their homes, out of their businesses, without any type of due process, and put them in concentration camps. Think about that. That was lawful. That was under World War II. I mean,
Yes.
think about that. FDR. I mean, talking about slavery, there was the law that the Supreme Court, I don't have the case right now in front of me, but at the time confirmed that slavery was legal. I mean, there was a law that Rosa Parks, supposedly, she has to sit down back in the back of the truck. I mean, that's my point. There are so many laws today that if you look at, they are at this point, not because they are laws, means that they are following the principles of our Constitution and more important, of our Bill of Rights and Declaration of Independence. So that's my point. I think should be make think every law enforcement that is supposed to be called, in my opinion, peace officers, to think about it. And not just them, also us. Because today say, you know what? Oh yeah, I need to follow the law. What if tomorrow the law says you need to turn in your brother, or you need to, oh, by the way, he's a slave because the government says so. Think about it. I mean, and so many other things, like I told you, there are many examples in my opinion. So not because everything now it's lawful or it's being passed by Congress means that, in my opinion, that we should say, oh, it's the law of the land and I'm going to submit it. That's for me, I'm sorry, I may sound like anarchist, but I am not. I just say, if you tell me 100 years ago, another human being, just because government says a slave, I refuse to follow their law. Same story with people, hey, you are Japanese descent, but you're an American. And just because you look Japanese or your family was Japanese, now we need to put you in a camp. That's for me. I would break the law. I would never follow the law. That's the way I am, but that's just me. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Listen to me. Let's talk about more beautiful thing. I mean, this is beautiful, but something a little more on the love side. Now, you live in a big city, Las Vegas, big enough.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You can always plead your Fifth Amendment. You don't need to answer everything, okay? This is the hour about love. I'm going to be a little touchy now. You are a single lady, are you?
I am single, yes.
How is that possible? Okay, because seriously, people cannot see you very well now because, of course, you're on the radio, okay? But if they're curious, they can dig you around Facebook, and you're a very beautiful lady. So,
well, thank you very much.
So how that happen? I mean, I know you're busy. Probably you're busy taking care of your family and everything else. Maybe you don't have much time. I'm just trying to guess. At the same time, what happened to you? What's going on?
Okay, well, I'll let you know what happened. Well, I was in a long relationship, 7-year relationship, and in the beginning, he was fantastic. He had libertarian ideals, so we connected at so many levels.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say it was probably a few years into a relationship to where I realized he wasn't such a libertarian. It was mainly when I was pregnant with our daughter, and he started to get very controlling about what I was eating, which I understood that he wanted me to eat the healthiest possible foods. But when you're pregnant, you don't always want those foods, and sometimes the healthiest foods will make you feel sick, so you have to eat what you can keep down. That's when things started to get strained, and, to make a long story short, almost a year ago today, December 2nd last year, I just decided, you know what, I had enough. And so I just took the kids and I left him and decided basically to start all over again.
Well, that's interesting. That shows that you
and
have.
So I've pretty much been single ever since.
You have some pride, and that's really nice because sometimes, it's easier to find, especially, when you have a lot of challenges. We live in a tough world. You got to get up in the morning and make things happen, okay? And when you're in two and you have a man around, things can be a little easier if you look at the practical aspect. At the same time, if you want to preserve your pride and your dignity, I think it is very nice what you did. At the same time, I respect the fact that, not many women, they may have the courage you have, especially with a child, as you told me. So my best respect to you. That's what I want to say.
Well, thank you very much.
And
so basically, I've just been, focusing on just, getting my life together. And, I do have 2 children. I have a 10-year-old son and a 6-year-old daughter. And, basically, I just want to focus on, having a great life with them. And, if I meet a wonderful man, I would love to share my life with them. If I don't, it's okay too.
That's good. That's the right attitude. I believe that too. You need sometimes just things let happen. And sometimes more you push that, and more you're going to get the wrong person or you get the wrong situation, And I believe everything happens for a reason. Now, question is, when you go out, in a city like Las Vegas, I always like to ask these questions. You're a woman by yourself. You do your stuff. Do you feel like they look at you for the color of your skin, or they just look at you, like normally they would look at anybody else? I have no idea, because I never really had the chance to ask this question to people from your black people.
It's interesting. Living in Vegas is so diverse here. I haven't felt any issues with racism at all.
Mm-hmm.
And even when we lived in Lake Havasu in Arizona, Lake Havasu was 90+% white people. I never noticed any racism or any hostility there either.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think, in terms of how we are, as a country, things are definitely improving. I'm sure there's still some, certain parts of the country, would have the white nationalists all set up, where it's not like that. But, so far living, here in Vegas and then in Havasu before, it's been great. It's been totally fine. I haven't noticed any racial hostilities whatsoever.
That's great, because honestly, as I said, I always look outside with the eyes of a witness, because I don't really have an experience to live with somebody that can say, by the way, I'm facing this or facing that. So from outside I see things like at least I don't know, I've been in Los Angeles, I've been in Las Vegas, I've been also of course in this part of Arizona. I never felt that type of speech or of attitude to say, that no, maybe I'm surrounding myself with the right people. I don't know. For sure, I don't attend any type of special secret group meetings, okay, like the KKK. But still, sometimes you can feel people around you, and the average person I met, they don't have problems, honestly. The problem I realize now what's happening, it's almost on the other side to try to reopen the wound, because yes, there was a wound, we had a problem, but it wasn't just, my opinion, an American problem. There was a world problem, because slavery, it wasn't just an American reality. We still have slaves in Libya right now. We are still slaves in part of Africa.
I saw that goes on today.
I mean,
yeah.
We had the Irish slaves. We have, slaves in Italy, for God's sake. I mean, slavery, one thing I tell you, me as almost, a neutral, because I didn't have ancestors here. I'm new. But I look at history. I look at what they were trying to do, these founding fathers. Many of them, yes, they were slave owners, like probably most of the world. But one thing, in my opinion, they were trying to do, at least start a new idea on paper. At the time, it was just on paper, where every human is supposed to be created equal. Of course, the Constitution at the beginning didn't put you equal. Black had and Indians had 1/3 of the vote or whatever. I mean, my point is, at least was an attempt to start to put it on record, to create something new that it would eventually blend in a new nation. And at the time, I'm not trying to find excuses, but if they wanted to stop slavery in 1775 or 1776, even better, when they were trying to put together the country, and then of course later when the Constitution was created, that never happened, because probably 80% of the country was founded on this very sad chapter. But it wasn't just an American problem, in my opinion. What do you think? Am I maybe off here, or or there is something going on?
No, I get what you're saying. And actually, there was a couple of the founding fathers who were very much opposed to slavery, and they were very vocal about it, such as John Adams.
Yeah.
He absolutely hated slavery, and he never owned slaves, and no one in his family owned slaves. So you had a couple of exceptions, but, there was a couple lone voices among, the whole group. But it's just nice to know that even back then, there were enlightened people who said, this is horrible. We get rid of this, as well. But going back to today, I personally can't feel any bitter feelings that I have ancestors that were slaves, mainly because they're dead and buried, and that's the past. It's over with. But what we're concerning, I think we as a nation need to be more concerned about, is the fact that there is slavery going on today.
Yeah.
And there's even, slavery going on in the United States, So let's, instead of, being angry about, what happened to our great-great-great-grandparents, let's focus on, well, what can we do about people who are enslaved today?
Yeah, and I think today we're all slaves.
Most of the citizens.
Yeah, I think we're all slaves in some level. As I said, before we started the conversation, say there was the marriage license was just for black people. Now we all have marriage license. I mean, gun registration was just for black people. Now we all, unless you live in Arizona or other states like this, in most other states, you are all slaves. That's the reality. They all want gun registration. So that's the point. We're all coming now to the same point, and we're all in danger. I mean, think about it. They're going to force you to have the vaccines, no matter if you're black, white, yellow, orange. They will try to use that poison in you against your will. Or even if it's good stuff, it's still against your will. So that's my point.
Exactly.
We're all facing the same reality today. That's why I really believe the plan that I see, especially from part of the government, is to separate us, to divide us, to keep playing this race card. Because the moment that we realize that we're all in the same really pot, and we are boiling because they are cooking us here, and they are melting us like cows, milking us like cows, excuse me. And we should say, you know what, screw that. Who cares what color are you? We are people that we are facing the same, unfortunately, harsh reality, and we are all in danger to be slave. That's the reality. So I think about the government. The most racist organization, in my opinion, is the government, federal government. I go there, I do an application to buy a gun. You will see there, they start, what is your race? Black, white, brown, orange, Indian. I mean, what the heck? I'm an American. Now, what else do you want? And they are really firm about that. They will not let you have a gun unless they tell you your race. And sometimes they get also a little creative, They start to get, Mexican, Hispanic, European. I mean, what the heck? They change every other year some other parameters. But my point is, I really believe part of the government, or at least some of them, government needs you dependent. And the moment that you are somehow independent, you don't need any more the government. And at the same time, when, let's say people, like let's say the black people, they always want to associate themselves people that they need help. But the moment that you say, I want to teach you how to fish, know how to get the free sandwich every day, they realize that the black people say, I don't need your government anymore. I'm free. And that's what they don't want, in my opinion. This is just my humble 2 cents opinion. Anyway, darling, listen to me. We're going to have pretty soon, as I finish all this mess with my final days of this move, a day at least, or a few hours, or whatever time it takes, to do some photos for the Don't Tread on Us rifle. Did you like my t-shirt?
I love the t-shirt.
What is the message? Let's remind. Maybe I can help you out. The message is, slaves are never armed. I am not a slave. Don't you think it's a powerful message, that?
It's a very powerful message.
And I believe that too, because that's the first thing I learned studying history before even I came to America. I was studying Roman history, Julius Caesar, God to Gaul, actual France. It's always that these Romans always had to, be troublemakers around Europe and submit other people. He win the battles and the wars against the Gauls, and you see this painting of the Gaul king kneeling, and there is a pile of swords in front of Caesar sitting down with his generals. Of course, a few weeks later, the king of the Gauls will be killed in Rome. But my point is exactly that's what they do every time they can. Your philosophy is free human beings. They should always have the right to defend themselves and to be armed. That's why I believe that message I wrote on the T-shirt. And that's why I really want to do this new rifle that is called, of course, Don't Tread on Us, the Freedom Rifle, an affordable rifle for every law-abiding American that does not want to be a slave. I don't have guns to hunt. Even, of course, if you want, you can hunt, but I don't hunt. It's for freedom. That's my humble opinion about that. Tell me something about whatever you want to ask me. Now, I've been asking you questions for probably 40 minutes almost. Do you have any questions about anything? Maybe even about the Zanna coffee that I think you got a bag, by the way.
Well, I appreciate the coffee. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, I do have a question. I remember that post on Facebook where when you first came to America, I believe you were living in LA, and you had this business where you would go to people's homes and you would, prepare food for them and, dress up as Spartacus.
Yes.
Do you still do that?
Right now, I don't. There would be something that, don't get me wrong, I would love to do everything. Okay. I enjoy things. I always was blessed to do things that I like. That's the point. And I chose that because I like it. I like to sing. I like to cook. I used to be dressing like a Spartacus before I left Rome. Maybe the time was not exactly a choice. I mean, it was a choice, but it wasn't exactly something, oh my God, I don't know if I ever told you, but my last 15 months before I left Italy, I was working on the streets of Rome. I never told you that, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, if you read my bio, I used to be a music producer, and I used to have a music magazine. And I was pretty much, okay, that's going to be my destiny. But I knew that wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to come to America. Then, I had a great experience with the Italian government, making me realize that you're really a slave, especially if you don't comply with their tax law, okay? And I said, what? Why am I doing this? Why am I here? Why I have to pay? In Italy, when you hire somebody, just to let you know, you cannot even fire anymore unless you go out of business. I don't know if you never told you that. With a union, that's the way it works.
I didn't know that.
Unless you want to pay $40,000 to the union or whatever. So anyway, but the point is, I realized I was really a complete slave, not even halfway. So I said, you know what? I went crazy. And I said, no more music magazine, no more music business. And I'm going to become, tomorrow morning, the Roman gladiator Spartacus, taking photos with tourists on the streets of Rome and doing Roman gladiators fights at night in restaurants and hotels. That's what I did for 15 months before I left Italy. Then, of course, when I came to America, I had my 2 luggages full of dreams and also full of my recent past. I have all my swords, my leather, and my skirts and all this stuff. And also, of course, I said, no more time to fight here. Now we're in America. We need to have a little better life, hopefully. And I started to enjoy what normally I like to do. I like to cook. I like to sing while I cook. So I did these little 2 hours shows, private shows. They were not really shows. They were mostly also a cultural experience because I also used to I used to have at the time the slideshow, the slide projector. So I do projection of photos of Rome. Meanwhile, me dressed as a Roman gladiator, I'm going to teach you how to cook a couple of really simple but good Italian recipes. And meanwhile, the pasta is cooking, I will serenade you. All that for $99. That was a steal. Of course, tips always welcome. Of course, there was $19.98, so $19.99, maybe $99 was a little more than now. But still, for me, as a fresh immigrant, that was a good way to say, I can pay my bills and learn English at the same time and have fun. So yes, I enjoy it, and I'm not shy. Many people say, oh my God, no, this is something, I'm proud of it. And not only that, right now, maybe I'm not going to be dressing anymore as a gladiator. I don't have the time, but I still have my clothing, and I still have everything. So you never know. Who knows?
And how long did you do that for?
Oh, I did that for at least 1 year. That was my first real business that I started it. And, I know at the time, I must admit, I didn't have any license. I'm sorry. I admit that I broke probably some California laws. I was completely a rebel.
That's okay. They're stupid laws anyway.
You know what? At least I didn't cost anything to the system, okay? I never asked, since I come to this country, a dime to any social services. I always paid for my own ways. Okay, I didn't say, "Oh, I want this, I want that." So I was taking care of myself. Okay, I know I didn't have a CD license, business license. I was a rebel, jumping in my little Jeep and going around. Okay, but that's okay. That's okay. Then I started to make my own business more official. But that was the first time. And yeah, but I enjoyed. That was something also to give me the opportunity to, I don't know, live the dream, almost in a romantic way, bringing the best of whatever country I was from, Italy in that case, sharing it with my customers. And of course, 99% they were women. Not because I didn't want men, but that probably most of the time was the audience, I mean, I had one time a guy that unfortunately he didn't understand that was just a cooking show. It wasn't some sort of a porn show, okay? So I had to remind them. I always bring with me my rolling pin, okay? That was my sword for the time. When you're going West Hollywood, sometimes people get confused there. But beside that, everybody was very respectful, and I'm always very professional. One thing I must tell you, I'm pretty proud about that. I never mix business or, let's say, professionalism with personal. If we want to date, we do after business hours. That's the point. Anyway, that was just a little note. But anyway, yeah, I hope I answered to your question. Any other thing I can help you with?
That was the first thing I wanted to know because I was very fascinated by that. I can't think of anything else at the moment.
Okay, let me
But I
give you
do
this.
have your contact information, so I will be contacting you in the days ahead if I think of something else.
Yes, listen, by the way, one thing I want to remind everybody, there is a website out there. It's called freedomlovers.us, and it's really free. It's free because I'm paying for it, okay? Nobody else. It's freedomlovers.us, 100% free. It is not just a dating site. It is also a place where you can meet friends. You can meet hopefully like-minded people. Yes, there are some scammers out there. We try to block them, but there's still sometimes, try to get they ask you for money, whatever. But bottom line is, it's free. Get your judgment, look for people. And the idea was to create a place where like-minded people who believe in independence and freedom can meet each other. So go to freedomlovers.us. Hopefully you can find maybe some friends and connect. And also another thing, if you want to keep this show the way it is, where we can talk about everything we want, we have no censorship whatsoever, I remind you that's the way I do it. I don't have sponsors, because if I go to a sponsor, they may say, hey, I don't like that, I don't like this. No, we are the sponsors. You are the sponsor. And anybody of you can sponsor the show with just supporting any of my products. You can go to zannacoffee.com, buy any of my coffee bags. You can go to just 99 cents to Amazon or iTunes, or just to zanna.us, download any of my songs. Hey, did I send you any of my CD yet, Karmyn?
Not a CD, but I did get the coffee and the T-shirt.
Oh, not the CD. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Now, when I come and I'll meet you for the photo shoot, I will bring you one of my CDs, okay? At least you can see
Thank you very much.
my other side and my music side. I don't just make guns. Listen, I want to thank you, Karmyn. That was a nice talk, and I appreciate knowing you and also talking a little bit about different topics. The show, of course, is Love, Guns, and Freedom. I really, truly believe that you represent the spirit of the show. You like the freedom, you like the guns, and you are the love, okay?
Thank you very much.
All
It's been
right.
a pleasure.
All right, Karmyn, keep in touch. Hopefully by next week, if I'm not dead of stress and tiredness, I'll see you and we will do the photo shooting, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Karmyn. That was Karmyn. Don't go away. Stay there. Let me just close this. Anyway, that was Karmyn. You've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. I want to normally I would do a serenade, but today, I'm not feeling very great. I'm tired. I've been sleeping not very much, and I'm hungry, by the way. I didn't eat since last night, so not serenade. But next Sunday, I will do a little serenade. Yes, I should do a serenade. Meanwhile, today, we just play a song, and then say it next Sunday. I'll see you again, hopefully. We'll see. Meanwhile, don't forget, if you want to listen to the show, go to lovegunsfreedom.com, and you can replay all the past show. You've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Thank you. Ciao. Well. I changed my mind. I wanted to do a serenade. Yes, I think at this point, it's a long time that I didn't do the serenade. This is the hour about love. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. This is Luca Zanna. And Karmyn gave me the inspiration. Why not? I should do a nice serenade here. After all, life is short. We talk about always serious things on this show, right? The evil that we are facing as humanity. At the end of the day, as I said, we need to find a way to win. How do we win? I think we win also when we appreciate the little things that we still have, and we should always have, no matter the adversities of lives. One of those, it's love. One of those, it's to just be enjoying yourself and your life and your little things. Maybe sometimes a little meal, the peace of your comfort in your home, hopefully, if you have a home, and your family, your beloved one. That's what I think. And a little fun. A serenade, I think it's a little fun thing. So now the serenade I will sing for you, I'll dedicate out there to all the people out there that are singles and they're looking for the special person. It is exactly Parla più piano. And it's an Italian version from the Godfather's theme. By the way, that was the original one. Okay, stay there, ready to go. And this is Luca Zanna for you. Parla più piano.
Parla più piano e nessuno sentirà. Il nostro amore lo viviamo io e te. Nessuno sa la verità, nemmeno il cielo che ci guarda da lassù. Parla più piano, vieni più vicino a me. Voglio sentire gli occhi miei dentro di te. Nessuno sa la verità. È un grande amore e mai più grande esisterà. Insieme a te io resterò, amore mio, sempre così. Parla più piano, vieni più vicino a me. Voglio sentire gli occhi miei dentro di te. Nessuno sa la verità.
Are you ready to get lost in lust? Immerse yourself in a thunderstorm of emotions and passion. Order Gianluca Zanna's new book, Perfectly Crazy, 69 erotic visions and love poems with forbidden erotic Italian phrases. Perfectly Crazy by Gianluca Zanna. Available all over the world at Amazon.com and www.zanna.us.